So how do you take something like cutting-edge AI and apply it to one of the most high-stakes, tightly regulated industries on the entire planet? Well, today we're diving into AuditLens, a technology that's trying to solve that exact problem for nuclear safety. And what its approach could mean for the future of compliance is pretty fascinating.
It all really starts with this one fundamental question. Now, it sounds simple, right? But the answer is incredibly complex. It's buried under thousands upon thousands of documents, dense regulations, and just meticulous verification. And for decades, proving that compliance, well, it's been this massive and entirely human effort.
And that monumental effort, it falls squarely on the shoulders of nuclear auditors. You can think of them as the frontline defenders of safety, but the day-to-day reality of their work is often a battle against paper, PDFs, and just sheer complexity.
At its very core, the challenge has always been one of just volume and manual labor. I mean, we're talking about a process that really hasn't changed all that much in decades, even as the complexity of everything around it has grown exponentially.
And this really breaks down that daily grind. Just imagine auditors digging through actual physical binders or trying to compare supplier documents that are in wildly different formats. They're manually cross-referencing every little thing against these dense regulations where a single missed finding isn't just a small mistake, it's a significant safety risk. It's a process that's almost begging for human error.
So this really creates a stark contrast, a tale of two worlds. On one side, you've got the old way. It's manual, it's inconsistent, and it is incredibly time-consuming. On the other side, you have the promise of a new approach, one that's automated, standardized, and just way more efficient. This is the fundamental shift that technology is trying to make happen.
Okay, so how do you bridge that gap? Well, the solution here isn't about replacing the human auditor, not at all. It's about giving that expert a powerful new co-pilot, one that happens to be powered by AI. And here it is, AuditLens. The whole goal is right there in the definition. It's a platform built from the ground up to make auditors just better at their jobs by tackling the biggest bottlenecks, all those scattered documents and all those manual compliance checks. It pulls everything into one place and automates the really tedious parts.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, instead of just searching for keywords, auditors can ask direct questions in plain English, like you'd ask a person. Instead of manually cross-referencing for hours, they can instantly validate information against the Nuclear Regulatory Commission rules. Everything lives in one place, that painful prep work gets automated, and maybe most importantly, the results become consistent across the entire team.
This right here, this is the real game changer. By automating all that tedious work of just finding information, the AI frees up the human experts to do what they do best, actually analyze it. So their time shifts from, hunting for documents to genuine risk investigation. And that's where their expertise truly matters.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but how does this thing actually work? Let's walk through the actual workflow, which is, you'll see, surprisingly straightforward.
Well, the workflow is actually designed to be pretty simple. First, suppliers upload their documents to a secure portal. Then, AuditLens does all the heavy lifting. It indexes everything and maps it to the right regulations. This is what allows the auditor to just ask questions and validate compliance. And finally, the whole team can track findings on one central dashboard, getting rid of those scattered spreadsheets and endless email chains for good.
Now, anytime you mention AI and sensitive data, especially something like nuclear compliance data, there's one huge question that immediately pops into everyone's head. Is it secure? And this is, you could argue, the single most important hurdle for any new technology in this space.
And that's because, let's be real, you can't just plug this kind of critical information into some generic off-the-shelf AI tool. The risks are just way too high when you're dealing with proprietary supplier data and critical safety information.
And here is the specific danger. A lot of general AI models actually learn from the data they process. What that means is your super sensitive information could end up being used to train an external AI, creating a massive risk of data leakage and a huge compliance problem. For the nuclear industry, that is an absolute non-starter. So AuditLens addresses this head-on with a closed system design. It operates in a private, proprietary environment, which means supplier data never, ever leaves and is never used to train external models. It's firewalled by enterprise-grade security, and crucially for auditors, every single answer the AI gives is traceable and defensible, so it can actually stand up to official scrutiny.
Okay, so what happens when you put all of this together? The efficiency, the focus, the security. you start to see not just a new tool, but really an entirely new standard for how auditing can, and probably should, be done.
I mean, the difference is just night and day when you see it laid out like this. The entire dynamic of an audit shifts. Instead of spending hours and hours on manual prep, you get automated verification. Instead of slow, painful discovery, you get rapid insights. But the most important change, I think, is right there at the bottom. The auditor's focus gets elevated from just searching for documents to performing complex risk analysis. And that is the core transformation.
To make sure this technology truly meets the industry's real-world needs, the next step is a pilot program. It's really a chance for audit teams to get in on the ground floor, get early access, and help shape a tool that's built not just for them, but kind of with them, based on their actual workflows.